Hello, everybody, and welcome to this Xbox Life episode 305 HD Remakes. This is part 2. I'm one of your hosts, Mark AK Wingman 709, and with me, as always, is my good buddy Brun.
BJ33, and everybody should be able to hear me this.
And also with us is Rob, also my good buddy.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Rob, also known as Presar. Here.
Alrighty, we'll know in just a couple of seconds. Al Shep said he got the music. You can hear it this time. Woohoo! We got a big woo, so I think he hears everybody. So, I don't know. I just had to reboot XSplit, and then it works, so.
Like I said, always,
Yeah.
always the fix is to restart export. I'm laughing.
Now
'cause
I was just going to comment on the audio levels. The video was really low, and then Bren and I are really low. At least from what I heard. And Wing, you are very loud.
Okay.
Oh, he's
All I can do is boost up I'll boost my audio on my headset, my volume up. Maybe that will make the difference. So, let us know, Al. We appreciate it. And
Gunny was in there, and I I was just joking around Gunny because Rob was like, audio issues are with Brun and I. And this is as always. I put on there, you saying I'm the issue. How about I quit? And they put you're always talking about me when I'm not around. I was talking to Rob, of course, right now. And then Gunny puts okay just out of the blue. I was like, okay, is that what you want, Gunny? Me to leave? He goes, what? No, hey, how's it going? Fun.
Well, we're still being told you guys are low for some reason. I don't know what the deal is. I got all the volume. Every volume is cranked here, guys. Just the same as it was last week. So, and I didn't even update. Nothing updated with Skype or anything that I'm aware of. So,
Yeah, there was a new version for Windows since last week.
unless it auto did it, maybe that
It
messed.
might have.
Maybe that messed it up.
Here, I boosted my gain just a little bit. Maybe that'll compensate or something.
6.16.5. Oh, come on.
It's not unhearable though. Yeah, but we want it to be a lot better. So, I don't know. Go ahead and Brian say something for me. I'm gonna watch my Skype meter.
Something for me. I'm going to watch my Skype meter.
All right, I'm gonna move this up a little bit. Hopefully that'll improve both you guys. So, but now I hear a lot of static, so it made it really loud in my ear. So,
Yeah, I kind of had to mess with my overall levels for my headset for the from the Windows perspective, and then I had to update it a little bit up in Skype or in XSplit as well. I had to boost that level a little bit. I think I had it like
Actually,
halfway in Skype or in XSplit.
I
Keep saying
I think that the solution is going to be a dedicated recording machine that you don't touch during the week. Nothing gets moved. It doesn't get turned off. It just sits in a corner in a protective case.
now we need you guys just to move to Arizona so we can get together in a room, have a real mixing board, get a real video crew and a real audio crew to do all this junk for us. That's what we need.
There you go.
So, I don't know what to tell. I mean, everything is as it was when we did last week, and everybody came in great. So, I don't know, man. It's a ridiculously stupid revolving problem. You know, I don't know what to say. I was all excited last week. It's like, yeah, we finally got it figured out, and then now everybody's quiet again
Well,
except
there
me.
you did it.
I did what?
You like gloated.
I
That come on, that jinx it. That totally jinxes it.
oh,
You're
okay.
like, we fixed it, we fixed it. No.
oh, Tony says everyone.
All right. Well, we're gonna move on.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully it
Yeah,
is. Hopefully it gets us through. Hopefully
yeah, let's
everybody
get
can
to
hear us. So, all right, let's just move on. We're wasting time. So, what have you been playing, guys? Rob, I see the letter D in your notes here. So D, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, Disney Infinity. It's DI actually. I
Oh,
guess I forgot to finish Yeah, no, it's DI.
Yeah.
Just
Your
been playing
cursor's
some more of
next to
that.
it, so I couldn't tell. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Or then it looked like DII. Just playing some Disney Infinity with my son. He's insisting now to move on to the Cars portion of it. So now we've got like Pirates, Incredibles, and Cars going, and none of them are finished. If there is a finish. So yeah, it's more of the same. It's interesting just to do the little missions and stuff like that. It's cool. I think I'm gonna get hosed in one respect, and that's gonna be that we were at Target yesterday, my son and I, and so of course he had to go over by the video game section, which I can totally relate to because I was the same way when I was little. And when we got over there, he saw the huge, huge sign that they had for Disney Infinity 2.0 with the Marvel superheroes. And he can read now, of course, so I know what's coming up this fall. I'm going to be poor, er, with all the little Disney Infinity guys, because I think that's coming up pretty soon in September.
It,
You
it's
know, the
it's
Marvel.
funny how like we always push our kids. Oh, you should be reading. I can't wait till they start reading, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh man, I wish they couldn't read.
I know, right? Totally.
And they're like, because now they know, ooh, Dad, it comes out in October, and they're gonna
Yeah.
remind you, hey, that's tomorrow, Daddy, you buying
Yep.
it?
Yeah, because when we were in the store, he's like, "Oh, look, Avengers." I'm like, "Oh yeah, yeah, that's nice." And I like urged him on, to look at another section. So I got him to go over to the other section. But then today he's like, "Yeah, they're gonna have, so and so and so and so coming out." He's listing off all the Avengers and such. And then I'm like, "Well, how do you know that's gonna happen?" Well, it said it in the sign. Oh, foiled by marketing. But yeah, that's it for me. How about you, Brun?
Well, I played some Motocross Madness because it was free. It, Jameson, the guy looks
You're cutting out, Bron.
like. Oh,
We're we're, we're getting like every other word.
okay. How about now?
That sounded that worked.
Okay. Well, remember I wasn't here last week because of internet problems.
Mhm.
Those should be resolved. I haven't went down all weekend, so
Oh
if a
no no!
couple
Don't say it.
problems,
Knock on wood, quick.
You jinxed it.
yeah, I knocked,
Pew.
I knocked, I knocked. Um, so I played Motocross Madness. That was free. Jameson likes watching me play it because the guy looks like daddy. Um, and of course, I played a ton of Battlefield 4. So of course that's on the PC. It's funny. So I'm an advisor in the community that I'm in, and I was jumping in on one of the servers that they run, and I pop in. All of a sudden, I see a hey, Brun, and it's Voodoo. You guys remember Voodoo?
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, Voodoo was in there. I'm like, hey, where'd you? Small world when you're popping in a PC server. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Played a lot of Battlefield, and then I had to every once in a while I mention a game that I see or that I find, and typically they're either like Kickstarters or games that are early access on Steam, stuff like that. Because we don't at this point right now we don't get that on the Xbox side. Hopefully coming soon. But have you guys heard? It's based on an older game called Elite.
Oh yeah, I remember
Um,
Elite.
you remember Elite? Okay, so this one's Elite Dangerous, and I guess some person wanted to recreate it, picked it up from, did a Kickstarter on it, and I've been watching Ola, um, Chalk One. He obviously podcasts with Wing and I back in the day. He's Battlefield podcast and stuff. We mentioned him before. I think he's one of friends of the show. He has a channel that's like Chalk One Plays, and he is playing the betas because you have to pay to get into this beta. It's like $75 to get into the beta, um, but you get a copy of the game and everything when it comes out. The game looks freaking awesome, and he said it's Euro Truck Simulator in space is how he summed it up. But you guys look up Chalk One Plays on YouTube. Not now, after the show. Don't want to stay here.
And
Go
I was
look
starting
at
to type
this.
it in.
Yeah, go look at this Elite Dangerous. It looks really cool. It uses like track IR, and he has another thing that's something where he can like you press a hotkey and you talk. It's like voice commands. It's like voice attack, I think is what it's called. It's like a plugin for that. And he has this whole thing, or like somebody he's working with has this whole thing where you just talk and it's like talks back to you like it's the ship talking back.
Hmm.
So you can say like full power, and it'll say like going to full power, and it like does all the key presses for you and stuff. It is really cool looking, so I had to pass that along.
All right.
Sorry for the sidetrack.
All right. Is that it?
That's all yep, that's all I got.
All right. I played. I was really hunting for something to play this week, so I went and tried Gotham City Imposters. I had played this, and today's the 10th, so you guys only got 5 days left. If you haven't downloaded your free game on 360 for the Gotham City Imposters is free for the next week till the 15th. This is a fun game. I remember when I first played it, I had downloaded the demo or whatever, the free trial. And I really did like it, but I felt like, well, I didn't want to pay the money on it because it's like there was too many other games coming out, and I'm like, I probably won't ever get to play it. So it was interesting because I played the trial when I got this free game. As soon as I launched it, I got like 2 achievements in the game. I'm like, I didn't even play anything, and then it's like, oh, complete a game and complete the training or whatever, and I'm like, oh, it must be from back when I played the trial, because I actually did play a level online. So those actually triggered. But I did play. I played a couple rounds. It was actually fun. I found it to be very choppy, though, and I don't know if it was just the server I happened to be hooked up with or what. But it was. But it still was a fun game. I did enjoy that. I was looking through my 360. I've got a lot of games on my 360 that I have never played. So I'm like, let me try this Dark Souls.
Ooh.
It was free. I know it was a free game a while back.
Yep.
Dude, this is a horrible game.
Oh, don't say that, man.
It is horrible. These are like the worst controls I've ever seen in a game. Like, and I think if I recall, I think this game is really hard. I think if I recall, I think Dark Souls is one that like you'll die like a bajillion times. It's just
Yep.
okay.
Is.
So, but that's not why I say it's horrible. It's like in the very beginning, it's like first of all, it looks really ugly. The game looks bad, but I'm like walking up to like this zombie skeleton thing, and it's like I got this little knife, and I'm like I'm just keep stabbing him, and it's like it takes forever to kill this thing. And then he moves, and it's like the controls. I couldn't keep my guy centered on him. He kept like stabbing at him to the side, or all the my guy was completely facing. I couldn't get him to turn around the right way, and I was just having a heck of a time with the controls. So I ended up just quitting. I was like, this is horrible. I can't even get through the training mission. So, yeah, that's going to probably get deleted here. I will never play that again. I don't know why I didn't delete it off the hard drive. I should have. That was horrible. That was just like, this. I don't even have any desire to play this. Now I know why it was free. But a really, really fun game that I really enjoy on Xbox One is 60-Second Shooter Prime. This is a $5 game, people. I can't tell you how much fun this game is. It is hard. If you can even last the 60 seconds, I think that's the challenge. Can you actually stay alive for 60 seconds? It's fun, man. If you played Geometry Wars on the 360, you'll know what this is. It's essentially kind of like a Geometry Wars. It's the same. It's just that's what it reminds me of. It's a lot of fun, man. I keep going back, and it's got the leaderboards. So you're trying to beat your friends' scores and stuff like that. And it's a fun game. It's only $5. This is the best $5 game I ever bought. So I really enjoyed it. And I also went back. I've been working. I finally have decided to play through the Call of Duty Ghosts campaign on the Xbox One, which I never hadn't. I just have never gotten around to it. So I've kind of been working on that. So, but that is what I've been playing. That's it for
Cool.
me.
Wish I would have known you were doing the Gotham City Imposters because I almost played that today.
Oh, I
That
played it
that's
the
the
other day. I don't remember
oh
what
okay,
day it was, but it wasn't today. But it
gotcha.
was sometime this week. So if you've got it, man, I'll hop on there. We can get together. That'd be cool. Get a crew together and go in there, play some bats versus jokers. It's kind of fun. I think the idea of that is fun. I like the idea of Gotham City Imposters and what they did. And if anybody doesn't know, it's like these gangs of people that, like, there's the good guys and the bad guys. There's these guys that follow the Joker. That's their hero, and then the guys, all these guys that love Batman. So they're running around in these like homemade outfits and homemade weapons, trying to act like Batman, and they're fighting against the Jokers. And it's just really, it's a cute, fun game. It really is.
Yeah, the opening scene stuff is pretty funny.
Oh, and I love the little, like when you get a gadget or an upgrade, the little videos that play. It reminds me of BioShock. Like you get those little like movie reels, but these are just hysterical. So it's good stuff. I highly recommend it. It's free. I mean, you can't. There's no reason not to get it. It's free.
It's,
So, but it,
it's
it
just too much.
yeah, I can't play it, man. They need to pay me to play that stuff. It's like whatever. So, all right, are we ready for?
The news. All right, my turn this week, and I don't know how I'm going to keep this under a minute, but I'm going to try.
It don't have to be under a minute.
I know. That was the whole thing. It's like quick news, and I looked. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of news this week, but it's better than the couple weeks we had by ourselves when there was really anything to talk about. All right, everybody ready?
Let's do it.
All right. For those of you who love Madden and are still waiting on buying your first Xbox One or possibly your second, or you could buy a new one, you're in luck. Microsoft is releasing a Madden Xbox One bundle that includes Xbox One without Kinect, a digital copy of Madden, and 3 Pro packs to use in the Ultimate Team.
Hey, Bron,
So,
can I interrupt you?
yes.
I just realized I have been corrected. I didn't. I'm delayed. I was just looking at the chat. Project Goth or whatever. What was I saying? The Gotham game. Gotham
Yeah.
City Imposters is not free right now.
Oh,
Motocross Madness was free. This must have been a freebie
last week or last month.
some other time, and I just did. I just went and played it now. So I apologize. It's not free. If you missed out, too bad. Sorry. Motocross Madness is free right now. So thank you. See, I am way off. It's just a bad day for me. I am way off track with everything. So I apologize, but it's still worth money if you don't have it. So sorry. Continue.
Okay. All. Okay. I just want to make sure I wasn't going to start talking and interrupt again. No.
I can.
No. So let's back up a couple. Xbox One without Kinect, digital copy of Madden, 3 Pro packs to use in the Ultimate Team. Now, you might think if it's a good deal or not, but this is all available on August 26th for $400. So you're basically getting the Madden packs free. For those, let's see, who have purchased Speedrunners on Steam's Early Access, you guys are going to be in luck. And if you really enjoyed it, or anybody who owns an Xbox One will be in luck, the game is due out on the Xbox One in 2015 after the full release on Steam. Some bad news, and the bad news is for BioWare. After nearly 16 years of development, Mass Effect creative director Casey Hudson has officially left. So I don't know what that's going to do as far as the Mass Effect series, but obviously, hopefully it's good for him. He's going to do things that he likes to do, but sounds pretty crappy for fans of the Forza Horizon series. We'll be happy to know that Forza Horizon 2 has announced 31 additional vehicles that will be in the upcoming game releasing on September 30th. 2 of those that kind of stand out to me are the Veyron and the Enzo.
Veyron for the win.
Yeah, if you want a full list of them, go out there and look because they've released a ton of information over the past week or so. For PC gamers like myself, Crytek has risen to the occasion and is bringing Rise Son of Rome to the platform. The release will also include the previous released DLC, and they had a whole list of everything that's coming with that. So it's kind of one of those, do you want to say Game of the Year editions or something like that? But usually when they port it over, they give you everything. So Um, more P's for everyone who loves Diablo. Diablo 3 will have a day one patch on the Xbox One that will bring up the resolution to 1080p. So that's fantastic. No more complaining there. So here's Blizzard, right? Very fantastic developer, one of my favorites. They got their game to run at 1080p, and Bungie, who used to be an Xbox, only developer, says they're going to have Destiny up to 1080p, but it seems like they might be struggling. So I'm kind of curious. But
No, they've already had that's already been playable. The 1080p version
oh,
of
has been
Destiny. Yep.
good.
IGN actually played it. They showed it.
Awesome.
So
That's good. Good. Um, Xbox owners in Europe will be able to view live TV through their consoles with the Xbox One digital TV. This is a USB device that will be available in October. The cost will be $29.99, and that's European change, whatever euros or
Euros.
pounds or whatever their thing is. Sorry to say whatever. I'm not being rude. It's just I don't know. Some additional explanations on EA Access game trials. EA has said that these trials are not the same as demos. These are the full game, and each trial for each game may vary. So this is not just a broken up slice of the game that you can go out and play. This is actually the full game. You download it 5 days prior, and you get to play it. So, and I think I heard on on the show last week, you guys were talking like you only get 2 hours. So you get it a week early, but you can only play 2 hours of it.
it seems to be not the case anymore.
Okay, good, because that was kind of
But
uh,
it's not. You're not gonna. You're still not gonna get like. I mean, 5 days. Some games you can complete in 5 days. They're not gonna allow you to complete the game in that time frame.
they
So
say
everything's gonna be still limited.
they say it's the full game. That's what this story here
All right.
was that
Well,
it's
I'll
not
go
a
with that.
demo. It is a trial. It's the full.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm gonna start. I'll find out here. Then the next first thing they do, man, they put out a trial for. I'm gonna try and beat it in a week. We'll see if
Yep.
I can beat
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Cool. Battlefield 4 will be releasing an update within the next month. Players on the CTE environment on the PC may be familiar with these changes, but it's kind of like a make it or break it patch for Battlefield 4. This game has been out for a year now, and it is still, still having these issues. So a lot of people are saying this is it. If you don't get the game up to where it's fun to play, we're going to walk away from it. So some of the changes include player movement. It'll be more like Battlefield 3, so it won't be as slow. People won't seem like you're as slow. Overall weapon balancing, hit detection fixes. They're moving some of the hit detection stuff to the server side, not the client side, and netcode. And finally, Crytek has said that once more Xbox Ones have been sold, a sequel to Rise, Son of Rome, could still happen. So you might get a Rise 2 as soon as more Xbox Ones are sold. But if they're going to wait until more Xbox Ones are sold and then turn around and try to create a game, most people are probably going to forget about your first game. So they might want to start developing now. That's just my. That's all I got. That's it. That is the
Great. 59 seconds.
Thank you.
Plus
did
what?
it.
Yeah, 5 minutes of your interruption, 59 seconds of news.
Whatever.
Nice.
Whatever. So, anyways, we'll see. All right. So that's it. Into the round table. Into the
Yes.
battle. Onward and upward.
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna bring this one to light here because I called this. I told you guys this was gonna happen,
Okay.
and here it is. It's happening. So, Hasbro and Ubisoft have announced the Hasbro Game Channel, which will be a destination for family game entertainment on leading consoles. This will feature games based on Hasbro's most popular brands, including Monopoly, Risk, and Trivial Pursuit. Starting this fall, the Hasbro Game Channel will be available to download on Xbox One, um, video game and entertainment system for Microsoft, as well as the PS4. All games will also be available for download individually on the 360 and the PS3. So I'm not going to go through and read all this. That's not what this section is about. But this is going to be. They haven't listed out what the cost is going to be yet. That's kind of the thing right now. We don't know what it's going to cost. Um, but it is a subscription thing, and you're going to be able to play these games. Now, I will say from what I've seen of some of these games, this looks like it'd be a lot of fun. This is going to be a family. I like where they're going. It's a family oriented thing. It's and I like that. This is all the stuff I can play with my kids. It's like already I'm like, okay, my oldest and I we're going to be playing Risk. The whole family's going to be playing Monopoly. Depending on the Trivial Pursuit questions, at least the wife and I can probably play, but hopefully we can get the kids in. But I do like where they're going. However, my concern is, like I stated, we talked about EA Access. It's another subscription. So, I mean, you've got this, you've got EA Access, you've got your Gold subscription. If you're an Xbox Music fan, that's another subscription. You know, it's like every time you turn around, it's like everything's going to subscription based model. TV, used to be free. It's all subscription based. Cell phones are subscription based. Everything is, and it's like how many, the other companies are going to start doing this, and Ubisoft is going to do probably another one. This is a Hasbro game channel. Well, they're probably going to do what is their what is that thing that they have their Ubisoft thing?
Is it
You earn rewards.
oh
I forgot
Play.
what
you play?
the
You
Uplay.
play? Is that
You
it?
know they're gonna have
Yeah.
like a Uplay channel, and that'll be another separate subscription for for their games. And you're gonna have Activision, and you might maybe they'll have the Call of Duty channel, and that'll be its own subscription. I mean, I really don't like that idea because if they get to the point where it is we're all in a digital world, then you to play some of these games that could be your only option is to pay the subscription fees, and I think that could get crazy expensive. So
Well,
I
if
don't know.
they, I could see it being a real value if you don't have to buy the games then. I mean, imagine paying $10 a month and then getting new releases. That would be okay. But if you're paying $60 for a game and then have to pay on top of that, on top of live, on top of your internet bill as well, in order to make that all come together, then, that's a different story.
It the thing right now it's kind of a la carte. You buy what you want to play, and I can just see this going that whole subscription based model. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they'll lose money that way. But I also think if they're not going to sell 100 bajillion copies of Call of Duty, and they're going to put it into a subscription based thing, I don't know. I mean, they did like think of World of Warcraft. I mean, that was one game, and people were paying what $15 a month to play that.
Yeah,
So
buying it and $15 a month.
yeah, so I don't know. It
Hey,
could
i-
happen.
in regards to the Hasbro thing, how is this different than what they had before? Because they had that Hasbro game night, what, about 5, 6 years
Yeah,
ago?
the family game night. I
Family
think
game
there's
night,
like
yeah.
three. I've got two of those. I think there was a fourth one. I think there was 3 or 4 of them. I've got a couple the retail discs. That was the games all on a disc. This one is all the games are different. They're all new. They're changing, but you're playing, you download it. It's all digitally downloaded, and you're playing the games through this channel or this service, if you will. But it's all recreated. So the Monopoly is a brand new version of Monopoly, and not one of the 1800 that's already been released digitally. It's a new version, and it'll probably I'd expect like with Monopoly, you'll probably get new game boards and pieces and stuff that would evolve over time. Same with the Trivial Pursuit. Questions and stuff will be added in, but
Yeah, they have the ability with this kind of stuff in particular, like with the monopoly risk, etc., of making what's otherwise a pretty dull game actually somewhat interesting, just because it does everything for you. And they can animate everything. Because I know that the Monopoly game on the mobile devices, I want to say came out about 2 years ago. That was actually not too bad. So I would guess that this stuff is just like a one up of what they've done with mobile devices. Now, with like with this press release that they had, or whatever you want to call it, this marketing material, where they announced it, did it say in there that they're going to charge for it, or are we just assuming?
it's everything is said. There's no price yet, but we know it's coming. I think they said October. Oh, we know it's coming this fall.
Right.
But it's
'Cause
not gonna be it's not gonna be free. They're not just gonna say, "Oh,
well,
here's these games for free to play."
It's Hasbro. I mean, no,
yeah,
yeah.
It's
I could
licensed
see them.
products. Yeah, you're gonna pay money for it,
Yeah, but I would think that it might be something like, you just buy the game and you play it on their channel,
and it's three
kind of like what they did
introductory
with the,
titles. All these are
yeah,
so they're gonna add more games to the channel. So yeah, it's gonna have a cost to it,
right.
and it's at least assumed by everything I've read that it is going to be a subscription model. So you will pay
Okay.
monthly or a yearly fee. Now, and the thing on that, people might go, "Oh, well, Mark, you're being kind of stupid. I mean, the EA Access is only $30 a year. Get over it." Yeah, but that's right out the gate. Let's test the waters. We're just testing it. When this goes into full-on production, I mean, think about it. If this is just the start of it, okay? So a lot of people jumped on at $30. That's pretty cheap. But when they get to the point where like, okay, we're gonna turn Origin into this subscription thing, and the EA Access on the consoles is gonna be subscription based. So it's gonna be every brand new game that comes out is gonna be available. You think you're gonna be paying $30 a year? Absolutely not. And I'll guarantee you'll be paying more than $60 a year. You know, it's going to increase. The price will go up as they add stuff to this, as they bring newer games. And if you want new games, it's definitely going to be a lot more expensive.
I mean, if EA, like EA is a good example. EA was going to come out and make it $60 a year, or even 100. Say it's $99. If you buy two EA games during that year, it's completely worth it. If then this is if
Now,
there's new games.
but
Let
my
me
my thing's not on the value of one of these. My
right,
concern is now you got EA, Activision, Ubisoft, whoever else I haven't mentioned, all these different people going, they're all going to start charging you. So now
yeah,
every year you've got $60 for gold. You're going to, let's just say $60 for everything. $60 for EA, $60 for Activision. And they're going to be a lot more than that. But even, if they're new games, you start adding all this up and it's going to get very expensive. And then you still got those titles that you have to pay retail price for.
yeah. I mean, but my thing is,
We're going to have to
I'm
start
trying to
picking and
if
choosing. I don't like to be, well, I have to pay for a service to play a game. That's where I'm worried this is going. I know it's probably way off in the future, where I'm going to have to select EA. If I want to play these EA games, I'm going to have to pay for their subscription. And then that means I don't have enough to pay for someone else's subscription because I can't buy the $60 retail title anymore. I mean, like I said, I know that's way off. It's way, way, way off, but I can see it going that way.
Well, that's where I think like Sony and Microsoft need to come in and say they pay us and then we pay you. So we're paying Sony and we're paying Microsoft, and then those guys are divvying up, kind of like the music, like Spotify or Xbox Music or whatever. You pay Xbox Music. Xbox Music goes and pays all the music industries, all those publishers, all those places. And Spotify does the same thing. Like they go pay, you pay 9.99 for Spotify, and then
Yeah.
they turn around and pay all the artists and publishers, all that stuff. Yeah, turning around and like you go like look at Origin and stuff on the PC. Like like I don't want to say I hate Origin. I don't mind Origin. I don't mind Uplay. I just hate that there is an Origin and there is a Uplay when there's Steam. Steam
Right.
has
Yeah.
everybody
And,
except for like three,
except
like except for these two or three.
right. And as
You know what I
these
mean? It's
guys
like why?
branch off and they start pushing their own, and you have to go use theirs, others will start doing the same. We won't
But
have a
that's
nice equal. We won't have a nice stable ecosystem.
well, then that's where we gotta, you gotta pay with your wallet.
But then we lose out. That's the thing. I don't want to lose out on, and I know I'm probably way off base here, and I'm not trying to be the Debbie Downer
No,
and
it's round table.
but
Work.
it's that's my worry is it's like, man, I don't want it. It's just like I've got this Sirius XM, I got it free when I bought my truck, and now they're like, oh, it's expiring, and I'm like, well, I really don't need it. I I like the idea, but I don't want to pay another subscription. I don't want to have to pay for radio. It's been free my entire life. Why all of a sudden do I have to pay for it?
Well, I've
Well, now you don't have
with
commercials and you get the kind of music you want. It's like, yeah, I really like that, but I still don't want to pay yet another subscription fee.
I
It's just like
well,
they're gonna subscription fee us to death.
I've had Sirius since like 2002, on and off, and I can't listen to regular radio at all. I have to, like, I love satellite radio, and but the thing is, I paid for Sirius, and I listened to Opie and Anthony show probably 90% of the time when I was listening to Sirius satellite radio. And then they turned around and they fired Anthony for exercising his First Amendment rights and tweeting something, and they fired him over it. So because he got some woman walked up and punched him in Times Square, and he called her a bunch of names. So nothing racial or anything like that, but he just called her a bunch of names. Fired for it. So like I'm done with those guys now. It's like but you know, like I will pay that subscription fee, but then like the music industry, the reason why I kind of hit on that is because, or any subscription. So if we kind of go over them, you got Netflix, you have Amazon, Spotify, you have Xbox Music, you have Beats Music, you have Sirius Satellite Radio, you have, I mean, it's just on and on and on. You have Hulu,
There's a
you
bazillion
have,
of them out there.
yeah, I mean, there's tons, and I mean, I know people, they cut the cord, they cut the cable, they pay for Hulu, Netflix, Amazon, and that's how they watch their TV. And now there's rumors of HBO kind of cutting away from cable and just offering their service, and people are just like, we will pay you $100 a month for HBO. There's just people are just wanting that service just so they don't have to deal with the cable company. But it's just I know exactly what you mean, Mark. Though it kind of worries me. It's just like, oh, if you just think about the big ones, Activision, EA, Ubisoft, Blizzard. If you just think of, and like Sony, because Sony obviously, and Microsoft, so there's six. If every one of them wanted $30, $30, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's massive. That's a massive amount of money a year to play games. And definitely when it's just like, well, yes, I may go buy 3 or 4 games during the year, but that still doesn't equal.
Well,
We'll have to see.
what do you think, Rob? You've been awful quiet. You gotta
Dude,
have an
wake up,
opinion. You gotta have a thought on this, my man.
wake up.
No, I hate being nickel and dimed. That's for sure. That's one thing I've always complained about, especially with the pay to play and all that that's been coming out. I'd rather pay for something and just get the whole thing rather than little chunks and then basically be extorted. At least that's how I feel about it. And the whole subscription thing is, I mean, it's kind of a different story in some ways because it's a hidden cost, but it needs to be justified with something that's worth it. Like, for example, something that's subscription based is like, let's say, like Hulu. Hulu is subscription based, and I do have an account with them, but I have everything paused with them just because I don't know. I probably just need to sit there and actually cancel my account because what you get for it is not worth it.
Oh
I
no.
mean, they do have some programming on there I mean, it's okay. It's nice if you don't DVR it or whatever, but you have ads and the quality is not very good. On the other hand, a subscription service that is pretty darn good is Netflix. I don't really watch movies on there. It's like really used by my son, but he watches that thing like crazy. And there is, I mean, is a definite low cost. I mean, it's like $9 or $10 now, I think. It's a low cost, but it's used all the time and there is a value to it. Now, with these services going in like Hasbro Game Channel or whatnot, if you're playing these games that they have, and let's say there is a cost to it. We're speculating here. I mean, we don't know yet, but let's say there is a $10 a month cost to it. For what they offer, personally, I don't think it's worth it because how often are you going to play Monopoly? How often are you going to play Trivial Pursuit?
Well, you say
And
that because you need your money, every piece of money you can, to buy all those Disney Infinity characters now.
and my board games. But but the thing is, I mean, maybe my look on the Hasbro thing in particular is a little tainted because um, the board games that they have on there are very. hmm,
It's family
It's
games.
yeah, I mean, but
It's not
there's a lot
your.
better family games, but their implementations seem to be nice. But still,
But
you can
these are three major games that they're starting with. They will
yes,
be adding more. That was stated in the article.
right now again. How often are you going to play this? I mean, maybe twice a month. Is it worth it? $10 for twice a month to play something like this? I mean, the money you could get a much better value with something else.
Well, it
You know what
depends.
I'm
We
saying?
don't know what the price is, so we can't say if
True,
there's value to it or not.
true.
If it's $30 a year, then yeah, I think this probably I would do it. If it's $30 a year for this, I think that the initial games that's $10 I paid for those. They're going to add more to them. I'll play every one of them with my kids. We'll have a
Yeah,
lot of fun. I think there is value. The value is, yeah, how much is it going to cost? And then when they add more stuff in a year, when you auto renew, which the EA access does for you, and they're not going to probably be nice enough to send you an email going, by the way, this is about to, at least I know Microsoft does. I get an email all the time. You're about to auto renew. I'm like, oh, that's
right.
awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I'll be really surprised, honestly, if EA does that to remind you to give you the opportunity to cancel out.
Yep.
Most of them don't want you to remember because people will forget, and
Oh
then
yeah.
next day that's money in their pocket.
I mean, I've been guilty of that myself, where you go through a period of time, let's say, where you don't look at your credit card receipt or your statement very well, and then you find out that you've been paying for something for the last 6 months that you have no use for. And you're like, dang, I wish I canceled it, way back when. Or worst case is those free trials that you get roped into, where it's I don't know, let's say like a month of something, and then you just forget about it, and then you keep getting billed on it. Now, one thing I was thinking about. in terms of the EA access was, not too long ago, we had that online pass and they got rid of it after a while. Did they keep it for 2 years? Was it even that long?
Would pass.
The EA online pass. Remember that thing where you had
Oh,
that code and
I think that was around for several years.
yeah.
around
So
for a couple.
yeah, so they had that, and you remember how they came out with that, we listened to our fans or to
What?
our users, and we are going to do away with that online pass. Remember that? Because that's
Yeah.
how they got out of it. Well, why do you need an online pass when you have a monthly subscription service? I bet they got rid of it because they knew that this EA Access thing was coming out.
And if you go back and listen to our podcast when this was announced, that's what I
Yeah.
said. I
Okay.
said they're getting rid of that online access, their EA Pass or whatever it was,
Okay.
because they know going in the future with an all digital world, you're gonna have to be online anyways. There's, you know, they're gonna have some connected thing coming down the road.
Yep. This
You
is it.
know, so
Surely.
it might take a while to get there, and they're trying to spin some PR, but you know, these guys are gonna make money. I mean, these are not these are suits. These are dudes that want to make money. They're not gamers running these companies, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with them profiting. But if they all go down this road of let's do all subscription services, that's just I think it's going to kill the gaming industry as we know it because we won't all be able to pay all these monthly fees for every single publisher out there. And we're only
Yeah.
mentioning a few. Deep Silver happens to be another one that has some great games that I want to play, and they got new stuff coming out. What about those that are like Microsoft Studios? And maybe we can still buy the $60 versions and or whatnot, but there's also the opportunity now for them if they do these subscription services. Oh, well, now we can increase the price of the standalone retail copies, and then people be like, well, I don't want to keep paying that. Oh, well, you could get it cheaper if you went to the subscription model. They want to lock people in. That's just like what these cell
Yeah.
phone companies do. The insurance companies do it. That's why they're always saying we can give you, come change providers. You get this and this and this. They give you stuff free. Why? Because most people will forget or they won't change again. They'll do it the one time and then they like, I don't want to go through the hassle changing phone companies. It used to be phone companies. Now it's insurance companies and cell phone companies. We just keep swapping. After a while, you just give up and you stay. And now you're paying the crazy prices. And you look at your insurance. After 1 year of your insurance company, yeah, that goes skyrocketing. They start jacking everything up, and then what are you watching on TV? Oh, we'll give you money back, or we give you for car forgiveness, or we buy you, give you if your car's total, we'll give you a new one for free. Guess what? That's not you. That's only for new customers. They keep trying to. It's just they got to keep you locked in, and paying those higher prices down the road. So pretty soon we won't be able to afford all of them, and we're going to have to be like, do I want to play Call of Duty or do I want to play Battlefield? I can't play both anymore. That's not a gaming world I want to be a part of.
Right. Right.
So, anyways, I'm going to shut up.
Yep.
Uh, do you guys anything else? On,
Nah.
No,
all
we'll just have to sit. We'll have to wait and see.
right, Rob, since you've been so quiet, why don't you read the next one for us and kick us off into this, and we'll let Brun do our third one.
All right. So I guess with the way things have been going lately, the industry-wide pre-orders have basically been taking a dip, and that they don't feel, or the industry doesn't feel that they're a good indicator anymore of interest in a title. Because that's one thing that has been around for quite some time, where they'll put out pre-orders a certain amount of months ahead of the release of a game, and then they basically use those to figure out how many people want those games. I imagine that also probably figures out demographics too. Well, not more not demographics, but more like regional interest, because they basically know where everything's been pre-ordered. So now, since you've got the next gen or the current gen, consoles that have the digital side to them, you don't need to pre-order something that you can basically get on release day just with a download. And this is kind of changing the game uh, for the way that they have to gauge interest. And what do you guys think about this? Do you think that this might the the digital only avenue? Do you think that might hurt how companies are able to gauge interest ahead of time or interest period in their games?
I mean, to me, pre-order was all because you had to go pick up a physical. And I mean, really, what have they done now to try to keep people to pre-order? They start to give incentives to which then like and that's an incentive to pre-order. You can pre-order at a store for a physical copy or pre-order for a digital copy. You can still pre-order for digital. I think the reason why things might be on a downhill climb is because it's like, oh, pre-order from this place for this, pre-order from this place for this, pre-order from this place for this and this and this, and if you pre-order for this one, you get this one. And it's just too messed up where people are just like, well, I'll just buy digital, and then they just leave out of it. I think they've kind of done it themselves, but
I
Or what,
well, I think that I don't. You mentioned, Braun, you can still pre-order digitally. Um, no, not to my knowledge, you can't. I've never been able to pre-order anything, and I'm all digital on Xbox One. Now, maybe if I go into GameStop, maybe you can get a digital version or a code and still pre-order. Maybe that way. I don't know if that's an option. I don't do it that way.
well,
sorry,
what
I'm
would the point of
thinking
that be anyway?
I'm on the PC. Does you can pre-order digitally on the PC side? Sorry,
Yeah, we can't do that on the
consoles.
console side yet.
Okay, okay.
It's
Well then,
coming though. It's because
yeah,
Sunset Overdrive, those guys. I can't think of the totally
Oh
drawn
yeah.
a blank. That developer, they came out and made some comment about you'd be able to pre-order that game, that it was coming soon. So we should see it on the Xbox One before the end of the year. But
yeah,
And I
and
think
that's
I
sorry.
think
Then I
Phil
would
Spencer
go ahead. You
I
go.
think Phil
You go.
Spencer made some comments about that, didn't he? Or one of those guys did about how because the big question, I mean, even we asked it. The big question was, could you purchase it ahead of time and have it preloaded? And they basically said that that was more than likely going to happen, from what I recall, right?
Sure. Yeah. So
And
on the go
go
ahead.
ahead, go, you go,
wow,
your turn.
it's like working with a couple of monkeys.
No, I was just gonna
Uh,
say based on this that with the console not being able to pre-order at this time, then yes, digital is probably what digital and people getting a little probably frustrated in the whole process.
But I think it's interesting that Activision is saying, we can't judge by pre-orders when Destiny set records for pre-orders. It seems kind of funny. But then again, a lot of those pre-orders, and we've seen so many people say, "Oh, I did my pre-order to get my beta code, and then I canceled my pre-order." So I'm wondering if that's what they're referring to is you can't really judge it anymore. Yeah, you can't judge a pre-order number or demand for it when you say pre-order, you'll get a beta code, knowing people will just cancel it anyways, so they can just get the beta code. Why not? Why not just let the beta go out? I mean,
right.
pre-orders I thought too were just mainly for like GameStop or Best Buy to secure your money, but I guess it's also for the publisher to secure your money ahead of time. I kind of think it's stupid because you're giving your money over to them. Um, so you give, especially if you pay your pre-order off ahead of time. So you got here's $60. I'm pre-ordering Destiny 9 months in advance. Here's my $60. You could have taken that $60 and put it in the bank. Granted, you're not going to get a ton of interest, but you're going to get some, and then just pay cash on it when it comes out. But by you giving that money to the GameStops, they're going to take everybody pre-ordering. They take all that money. Now it's a big lump of sum, and they can stick it in the bank and earn a bunch of interest on it. So they're making more money off your money.
Oh yeah.
And the only time I think a pre-order really is necessary is if you're gonna pre-order like a special edition.
right?
But to pre-order a $60 title, and I've done it, so I can't, I'm saying it, I've done it in the past, and if they digitally allowed me to pre-order, I'd pre-order digitally, which is stupid. But what I always did my pre-orders through Amazon, so I just put my order in. They never billed me until it shipped, so I
Right.
didn't give them any money ahead of time. And I used to do the GameStop thing, and I'm like, well, that's just kind of dumb, and I stopped doing it. I'm like, why would I give somebody my money that far in advance? I just pre-ordered on Amazon because it's just an order that's held, you know.
See,
Right.
So
initially, weren't pre-orders really just there to guarantee a copy?
Yep.
which
Because I
originally,
mean,
yeah,
yeah, and I mean, I remember years ago where, some hot game would come out and it would be impossible to find if you didn't pre-order. I haven't pre-ordered anything at a
you
store
don't need to do it
ever.
anymore.
So,
You don't need
exactly. I
to.
mean,
Yeah.
I can't even remember the last game that was not available, at least that I recall not being available.
And as big as Destiny will probably be, I guarantee anybody that doesn't pre-order it will be able to walk into a store and buy it the day it's released. Unless you're
Yep.
in a GameStop. Because unless GameStop changed their policies, because I remember, I think it was when Guitar Hero 2 came out, I went in to buy that, and then they're like, "Did you pre-order it?" And I said, "Well, no." And they're like, "Well, we can't sell it to you for 48 hours." I was like, "What?"
What?
I'm like,
What?
"That's stupid." They're like, "The first 48 hours of release is only for those that pre-ordered it." They actually didn't want my money. I was like,
Um,
"Okay,
Go
I
somewhere else.
exactly. I'll go somewhere else and give them my money." It just didn't matter to me that the first 48 hours. Now maybe it was just that one store, but it was a GameStop. Maybe it was just that one store. It just made no sense to me. I'm like, you got them sitting here on the shelves. You have extra copies. But that was, several years ago, and maybe that was the issue. Maybe they only had enough for their pre-orders, and what didn't when anybody didn't come to pick it up, that went on the shelf for people that didn't pre-order it. I don't know, but I don't think the pre-orders. I would love to get rid of it, to be honest, with all these special things that you get, and it's like you feel like you gotta. Oh, I'm missing out, or I didn't get the full game because I didn't give them my money ahead of time, and But it's a lot of those are the retailers, like the GameStop, getting in there, and they want to even go further than what they've done already. We reported that a couple weeks ago that they want to get into the game development part where you know some kind of pre-order exclusive you get you something in the game a lot more than what it already is. And that's just oh, I don't like that.
Yeah, that
We'll give you new
GameStop.
levels or completely new storylines or no, that's going to be garbage.
Yeah.
GameStop. They know what's coming now, and definitely with them changing their whole trade-in stuff, they're going to start to give more money for games because they know what's happening to them. Not they're not dumb. I mean, they're not stupid. They know what's happening. Cool. I don't have anything else on this one.
All right. So I guess we'll see if anything's gonna. I don't think anything's gonna change on the pre-orders. I think it's just gonna continue to get crazy out of control. But so I think that article's kind of crazy or statement by Activision's a little crazy.
It'll come back to that joke where we said episodes ago, pre-order for GameStop if you want the end of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only get half the game if you pre-order from Best Buy.
So
Get the
you
full
get
game.
for $60 retail, you get half the game. If you want the rest of the game, you can buy a subscription.
Yeah. Ooh, that would no. Here's what it is. The subscription will include online multiplayer. If you want to buy the game in the store, you only get the single.
Jesus wants to know, what do we think of the new Tomb Raider game having a special edition for pre-order with a book and doll only available for PS4 owners? Myself, I don't really care because I don't buy all the extra stuff. If I want something, I want something in game. The pre-order stuff. As for the art books and a doll, I just not into that. I don't really
Yeah.
care. But if it's a
not into
Lara Croft
dolls.
doll, I don't know. That might be pretty sweet.
That's just. I mean, I don't know. If you're buying a game, aren't you buying the game to play it on your console?
Yeah, I've never bought a $150 version of Call of Duty just to get them. Even though I really kind of wanted the night vision goggles, I don't know why, but I thought that was kind of cool. But all those turned out to just be rather lame.
I,
Everybody I know that's bought them is like the plane was really chintzy, and I think it was the Oculuses didn't even work. And maybe it wasn't him because he probably didn't even take it out of the package. But somebody I was talking to said their plane didn't even work, and maybe that's Carbide. Um, and the night vision goggles were really garbage. I mean, it's just like I'm just throwing money away. I'd rather buy another game for the price of all the extra stuff they throw in. So I don't really care about an art book. I'm gonna flip
I
through it one time and then throw it on a shelf. And it's just
Yeah.
something I gotta move. It's just extra weight to move when you move. Uh, no.
Yeah.
And that's one thing nice about the digital. I like seeing my whole shelf full of Xbox games, but when I move, I won't have to pack one single Xbox One title if I ever
right.
move again.
Or you just bring your hard drive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You
it's like
pack your hard
I
drive.
got
That's it.
500 games on in my palm of my hand.
Yeah.
It's so I don't. Yeah, me, I could
Well,
really care less. I do think they should do stuff equally on all the consoles, but I'm sure Sony's paying. Um, who is that? Is that Square, Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix? I'm sure they're paying them the money for that to make it a PS4 thing. So
we'll say that I bought like not the lowest version, but like the next version up of Halo Reach and Halo 4 because I like when you get like the 10 case, something like that. But I will say the Reach one, man, it had so much stuff in it, like patches and all sorts of stuff. But I mean, you're only talking for $10 more. You're not talking $150
Vengeful
stuff.
Loki did say that he mentioned about the next Call of Duty it'll be a $900 version. It'll come with a Glock. That
Yeah.
I might buy that one.
For 900, it better be an AR.
So, well, you got a couple $100 just for Call of Duty, man. Come on, it's worth it. All right, let's move on. Um,
Okay.
HD remakes on the Xbox One. Recently, it was announced that Sleeping Dogs is getting a definitive edition on the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. Um, so this includes all the DLC, all the HD upgrades, and we had the Tomb Raider. People have listed off several things in our chat room tonight
Right.
about all these different HD remakes that are coming or have come out. Um, I'm trying to look back through the list of where they were jumbled in. Metro, I know, is getting one. Um, there we had I said the Tomb Raider. I thought there was a couple others listed here, but my question is this? Did we have this type of remake? It seems like we're getting a lot of them now. All of a sudden, and I'm like, I hope we don't get a whole bunch more just the rest of the year. But I don't recall, and I wasn't part of the original 360s, day one cycle. But do you guys recall having a bunch of like upgraded remakes of games when a new console came out? We're getting
Uh,
Diablo as well coming. You know,
No. Yeah. Well, you didn't have remakes. What you had is like the most popular games were backwards compatible. Like Halo One and stuff like that. And
right?
we really didn't see that many. We didn't see a remake until the Halo remastered, and that was for a 10 year. That was the anniversary. That was 10-year anniversary. Is why they made that one. We're seeing more now because there's just no backwards compatibility, and they know they can sell it. But I think some of the games that they're doing HD remakes on are just ridiculous. Like not saying the games are bad. I don't want to be
No, Sleeping
my words
Dogs
taken.
is a good game, but I know
Yeah,
exactly
it
where you're
is.
going, and I agree with you.
Yes,
But Sleeping
Metro's a
Dogs,
good game. Sleeping Dogs is a good game, but really deserving of an HD remake.
Yeah, I don't.
This isn't a
yeah.
Red Dead or you know, I and GTA is not a HD remake to me. That's just a port because the game's less than a year old.
What game is
But
that? Oh, GTA.
GTA 5, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but I don't know. I would still classify it in this. The game came out on a previous generation. Now they're,
Yeah.
oh, we're going to release a version for that. I would still put it in here. So yeah, that's coming out too. Same with Diablo. I love Diablo. I can't wait. I'm buying Diablo 3 on Xbox One, and I will replay it. I'm actually thinking about buying a copy of because I had rented the game, and I'm actually thinking about buying on the 360 just so I can update it with my game save and have my game save or my character stuff moved over to the Xbox One so I can continue on or play the DLC or play the game with my up leveled character. So, but some
Like,
stuff like but Diablo makes sense to me. It's a juggernaut. Sleeping Dogs, even Tomb Raider, as good as Tomb Raider was, and I did buy the definitive edition. I didn't really think that that one really warranted it. And it's just like, are they just going to start doing this with all these games just to put a version on the Xbox One and just do some graphical upgrade? And is it really worth it to pay $60 to play the game again? And
yeah,
are we
like
going to get flooded with these things?
yeah, like the Diablo. You mentioned the Diablo. The Diablo one is like is basically like Reaper. It's the ultimate or whatever. It's like the Reaper Souls. It's everything. So to me, it's kind of like a Game of the Year edition,
Right.
and the definitive edition of Tomb Raider. I guess you could. That's not a Game of the Year edition because they released a Game of the Year.
It is. It still is because it included all the DLC. But the problem is,
Right.
all the DLC was multiplayer only. So, what do you do? To
And
me, the multiplayer was a waste on that. That was a single player game.
and as far as the other ones, it's like, are they warranted? But the like Master Chief Collection, that's a good HD version because you're getting every single one of the games, and it's really meant for a purpose.
And I think
You know what I mean?
that's not a bad idea because for a new on a new console, you got, if you're going to pick up some new gamers, maybe people have not played Halo,
Like
they can go and
Uncharted.
play every single one of them. I think that's a good idea, but Halo's been out for so long.
Yeah.
You
Oh
know,
yeah.
if PlayStation 4 gets an Uncharted where they
Yep.
can play all the Uncharted games on the PS4, I think that's well worth it.
Oh yeah.
It's a big title, it's a big franchise. I actually would probably pick up a Gears
Yep.
collection, Gears of War. But I don't know, Sleeping Dogs, Metro, these are just like, really? We really I mean, did they sell enough to even warrant these guys even doing this? Or are they doing it because they feel we can make some money just by upresing the game, which is real cheap, and pumping it out on the new console? And people will be like, "Well, I got nothing, so I'll buy it, and we can make some more money." I mean, that's what I'm wondering if that's all this is.
Yeah, and it's really weird, like, because I think of games like Crackdown and Borderlands. Like, I wouldn't want to see HD remakes of those.
No,
And
I
I don't
agree.
know.
Well,
I don't know
Crackdown,
why I
I
say
probably
that.
would, but not Borderlands. I would really, because I don't see Borderlands. Well, even Crackdown's the same way because of the art style. I
Right.
mean, how well, I think you could get more monsters on the screen, you could get more effects, and it might look cooler and run better. But I mean, you're not gonna get. I think the graphics are still gonna look pretty much the same because
I
it's all
think it
that
needs to be
cell shaded type
disturbing.
of stuff.
They'll have
I think it
better
needs to be
edges.
disturbing of
That's
it.
about it.
That's my thing.
I don't
What
want to
makes
play
the game
Borderlands 1
disturbing?
and 2 all over. There were so many. I mean, that's hundreds of hours, man. And I'd feel compelled to have to 1K those too. I'm already like, I know I got to go back to the 360 for the Borderlands prequel.
I mean, go back to go back to The Last of Us. They did a HD remake on The Last of Us. That game's less than a year old,
Yeah, and
and
see,
it's like,
that was a waste. And I know people have said who bought it and played it and have played both said it was a waste of time, waste of money. It
yeah,
really didn't look that different.
and not when they're doing it with their, that game's supposed to be included in their whole PlayStation Now stuff. So you're supposed to be able to play it PlayStation Now. But I mean, yeah, it's just weird. I mean, hopefully it doesn't get too crazy. Like, I understand the Halo ones, and just because they're basically like anniversary, right? Because this was the 10-year anniversary of Halo 2. and they're wrapping up every game with it. Uncharted is a great one. I really think it's like that's one of those things that it's going to be 8 years old, 6, 7 years. Between 6 and 8 years old. The first Uncharted. I mean, that's something that's deserving. Nothing that's been released in the last 2 years should have an HD.
Yeah, like the Mass Effect collection they rumored. If that does come, that to me would be that's a good that deserves it. You know, something that's got a good franchise. Sleeping Dogs is one game,
Yeah.
so Crackdown. I think Crackdown. I could see that. You
Yeah, it's
know,
just one of those weird. It's in that weird spot for me. Like I said, like with Crackdown and Borderlands, it's kind of in one of those weird
but
areas where
Borderlands is a huge seller, where Crackdown is not as big of a seller. But I could see Microsoft doing it because it's one of their franchises. So, but
I'm.
all right, Rob.
Well, one thing too about Sleeping Dogs is this game was free on 360. What about 6, 8 months ago?
Yeah, yeah,
After getting, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a good game,
it is good.
and playing it for free on the 360, I don't see any benefits to getting it on Xbox One. So I wonder if their sales would be less on the Xbox platform instead of over PlayStation. Although, there are more titles, not just that one. And there's got to be something worth it to make that purchase. I got the Tomb Raider Definitive Edition just because I hadn't totally finished the game and I enjoyed it a lot. So that's definitely a carrot to purchase the game. However, otherwise, these guys got to do something to make these games worth people's money because I'm sure they're doing it primarily because it's easy. I'm sure it's a lot easier to upsample or improve the detail on textures and to just port an engine than it is to create something from scratch.
Right.
But
So
I'd in some degrees though, I'd also rather have these than no titles.
that brings the other part of it too. But at least we are getting something. But I just feel it's got to be something more than I don't know. Sleeping Dogs just and Metro same with me. Both of those I just feel like really But I know a lot of people like Metro. So and GTA, I think GTA 5. I'm like to me that seems like it's way too early. Um, but I don't know. So let me ask you this, and when we wrap this up, what if you had to have, if you had your choice, it could be as many as you want. What HD remakes would you? What do you want to see come to the Xbox One that you would be willingly, happily pay for, without a doubt? Me, I'd have to definitely go with Crackdown, the Crackdown series. I'd pay for them. I love those games,
Yeah,
and probably
that's a tough
Gears.
question.
Bron?
Um,
That's a tough question, especially after the first round of definitive editions coming out. They might sucker you in, but then after that, you kind of really got to look at like, is it worth it? Because one of my favorite games of all time on the 360, of course, is Shadow Complex. And if they came out with a definitive edition, I don't think I would do it. I wouldn't bite on it,
I would.
because
What if they came out with Doritos Dash of Destruction Definitive Edition?
only if you come over and play it for me.
I think the
Oh,
only game Rob's 100%ed
Yeah,
because
that
of
and
me.
Avatar.
Oh, okay. You did Avatar all on your own, so.
Yes.
I
Couple people are saying Red Dead. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brun.
oh, I was going to say I was going to add on to the Red Dead because one thing I was going to say is a Rockstar HD. So that would include GTA 4, 5, and Red Dead.
No, I see. I would say no. Give me Red Dead 2.
Well,
I don't Red Dead Redemption looks so darn good. I don't really care to play the game over again. Give me Red Dead 2. That's that's the thing. I'd rather see a sequel in a,
Right.
bring that to the Xbox One. Don't waste your time up-resing Red Dead 1.
HD things, and when you look at Sleeping Dogs, they're doing these because, for one, they have a little bit of spare time and probably resources to do it. That's going to hopefully bring in some money. So I don't. Yes, these these things I want to make sure.
Did you
Uh,
I'm sorry. Sneak King remastered
oh
by
my
Dark
gosh.
Predator. Dude, that's why I started laughing. I'm sorry. I just read that.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. That game was creepy as it was.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Braun. Continue.
No, no. I mean, besides the ones we already know of, like Halo and Mass Effect would be good. Gears would be good. Like, and I say a Rockstar type. I think like a Rainbow Six HD remake of like that entire series might be interesting. But it's one of those things. It's like, if they do make it, will I buy it and will I replay it, or like you said, do I just want to do
Well, that's what I'm asking. I want.
so?
Which one would you come? Obviously, it's hard to ask you because you don't have an Xbox One yet. I
Right.
know you're waiting on something for it to. I don't know, maybe to hit $99. But
Halo 5.
okay, well, we're gonna hold you to that. You better have one by Halo 5.
Halo
Um,
5.
so, but if you had an Xbox One, what remake would you definitely buy?
I'd buy the Halo one.
Well, I mean, we already know that's coming.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, is there any
I
game
would say I would
franchise
say
you like?
Mass Effect would probably be the top one on my list, just because I haven't beat Mass Effect 3 yet.
And you still need to do that.
I know. I know. No.
So,
So is it fair to say that people would buy these remakes if they're not done with the original game? They'd be more likely to get them done versus if you fully completed everything.
Probably going to be a majority of your sales.
I don't think that matters. I mean, I had beat Tomb Raider and I bought the definitive edition. I think right now the only way you can really get away with these is because of it's a new console and there's maybe a lack of stuff to buy, but there's a lack of stuff on the 360 at the moment. I mean, every week it's like there's nothing. We're in a drought for both consoles right now. Now, come this wintertime, yeah, they're going to be starting selling like crazy. But even like Sleeping Dogs, this comes out October 14th. I don't think it's going to do very well because what else is out? We're going to be playing Destiny, Diablo 3. There's probably a couple. Madden, I think, will be out by then, and I just think this is going to probably tank, just like maybe the original game did. I don't think it sold gangbusters, but I guess they can. Again, they own the game. The game's done. They just have to upres it a little bit. There's probably very little cost, and then throw it out there if anybody wants it. So I don't know. Maybe they'll make money on it, but I don't want to see a whole bunch of these definitive editions. I really don't care for it that much. So,
Yep.
but I will buy the Halo Master Chief Collection edition just because. I don't even know why, but
I like Microsoft's new commercial, best games of the year.
yeah, with Sylvester Stallone doing the voiceover. And there's one for best multiplayer, and I can't. I'm trying to remember who that was voiced over, but it was someone famous too. I just can't think of it at the moment. But anywho, I
Yep.
guess you guys got anything else on HD remakes?
Nope.
Alrighty. So we head in over to oh, and I've got it all messed up. So we head into our community section. You can join us on Facebook, thisxboxlife.com. You can follow us on Twitter. I gotta make sure I turn all this stuff off. So we got Twitter account. Again, same, this Xbox Live. And we also have a voicemail. If you want to leave us a voicemail, click on the send voicemail box on the right hand side of our webpage. And just have a microphone and give us your gamer tag and your question or comment, and we will put it into the show. And then lastly, you can support us by going to Amazon.com. If you go to our website, click on the Amazon link, it'll direct you automatically to our affiliate page based on where you live. So if you're in the UK, it will take you to Amazon.co.uk or whatever it is. If you're in the States, it'll take you to the normal one. If you are in the States and you just want to bookmark it, just bookmark this xboxlife.com/Amazon. That's our shortcut for you. All right, so going into new releases, Brun, why don't you run through this gigantic list here?
Okay. Thing that it's 12:30. Speed through this. And done.
All right.
Nothing. No
Nothing.
360, no Xbox One.
Nothing.
5 more days to get Motocross Madness, and then what's the second half of the month for the free game? Or Xbox Live Gold?
Don't remember.
Okay.
I don't recall.
Throw that out
And
there.
I was trying to get to our link here, but I don't know if I've gone down or just the Google page has gone down, but I can't connect to it. Hopefully my internet's still up.
Yeah, you're good.
I can't get to anything anymore, so I might be going down here. None of these websites are working for me.
Okay,
So,
talk fast.
yeah, no kidding. That's it. So we got no games this week. Again, if you want to buy any games or diapers or anything else, whatever, go to Amazon and use our affiliate link. With that, we thank you as always for joining us. Please rate us 5 stars on your favorite podcast app. And with that, I am Mark, aka Wingman 709. I'm taking off.
Rob, also known as Prestar. Thanks for listening, everybody. Catch y'all next week.
And I'm Brun BJ 33. Have a good one.